So, my name is Svante, I believe. You might heard some of the talk already, some of you yesterday evening, where I stepped in for another one. And I'm one of the chairs from ODF, and I worked like 25 years on ODF, and this talk is both specification and, let's say, some kind of ODF reference implementation. So with further ado, just what's the standard? As I said yesterday, just to get you to an understanding, where we need this is, it's a blueprint recipe so that the same application works for everyone the same way. So we have a shock-frozen document which you save, and you should, everyone, everywhere in the world who implements ODF should be able to load it back and continue the work with the same feature set. That's the idea, okay? Or the ability to do this, to have this interoperability, the exchangeability, and without the login, that's the reason why we need standards, okay? And standards are changing as well, and in terms of digitalization, you will see as a developer, it's quite a problem that the standard itself is still so paper-based. It's so like you got, boom, here are the 500 pages, please implement it, right? But I work also for invoices. My main income is from the European Commission, working on electronic invoices, and then we got 400 tables in PDF, and of course you want to generate all this, yes? You don't want to copy-paste. You want to have digitalization, automation. And digitalization, to mention it, so there's something going on here. There's movement and change. And digitalization means just to have a common base. When you throw the data over the digital fence, you're able to process it automatically. Because we have a lot of data silos. One data silo is not talking with the other data silo. And we need to bring them together to have open data, most likely. Not the glass human being, like you have still privacy, but goods. You want to know, jump back to the supply chain and see, is my shirt, like the LibreOffice shirt, they are confirmed to be sustainable, right? If you have the barcode there, I just checked it yesterday. So that's what we want to do. That's the high level the politicians want to do, that we want to achieve digitalization, but in many ways. So, and Europe got a special way of standardization. It's the SEN standardization. And some say it's improvable. I agree fully on that. Some say it's broken. Some say it's a standardization mafia. It works like this, that we all have, it doesn't work so well, that we all, if each country have one single national standardization body, like Germany has a dean, yes, and there's AFNOR for France, and I'm not sure what's Luxembourg got, but everyone got a single national standardization body, and they come together as a set of these bodies to be a SEN group, yes? And there are also some other members, like as part of European Commission members, there's Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, and United Kingdom, and a lot. And also you see South Africa, the French Guinea, there where the European standards are also working, because it's France. And just to quickly show you, just a second, sorry for that. Okay, let's go for that. So just to quickly, it's quite complex, but this is by law. There's a European regulation from 2012 that if there's a European standard, you have to use it. You have 3 pillars. You can have telecommunication, electric engineering, and all the others. OpenOffice, Open Document Format is all the others, yes? And we have, every country has its national standardization body, and I have to pay it like 400 euro as freelancer, but usually a company pays 1,300 euro to be able to work there. You are allowed to work there, and then you can send to the mirror committee, to the Europe level, SEN or ISO level, that's the international worldwide level, that's the columns here. And that, so just to remind you, I have to pay, they can sell the work at any price they like, and there's a law that I have to use them, so they have a monopoly. It's a great business model. I'm not sure how they made it. It's super trick, it's super clue, and I think it's because they want to sell it. There's no openness. I'm not allowed to share drafts on work on the SEN invoice standard. It's horrible, really. And so lucky we are outside with Oasis. We are free. You can download it. We have public mailing lists, and they don't even have a mailing list, right? I put them on GitHub. I should have put it GitLab, but we finally have issues there now. But anyway, Oasis is open, and then we just drop it over to ISO with over the fence again, not digital, but and they just do editorial work, yes, and afterwards they sell it for 330 euros. The same specification with additional paper. Sorry, it's the paper, right? To say it, yes. But of course, you can download it as well for free. Yes, it's a little bit hidden, so please don't buy the paper. I sell it for half the price. My offer still stands. But honestly, so it's really strange, right? Gosh, I'm not sure why they're doing it, but I guess it's something like we always did it this way. So. To summarize, okay, and the ISO standard is special, the queen of standards, and I have to double check. It's not obligation for governments to do it, not an obligation, it's not a must, right? But if the country said that must be used, then everyone has to do it, and this should be done. I'm not sure where's the law and how it's gone. I have to really have to think about it more, right? I realized in the train when I go through the slides that I'm not so certain here, I'm sorry, but remember, all the game, why Microsoft became so open, yes, so they have Open Office XML. By the way, you know, ODF's name was earlier Open Office XML, yes, and the others said, like other Calligra, and said, no, we don't want that the name is like one of the implementations, please drop it, and said, okay, it's no longer Open Office XML, and Microsoft took it over, just switched Open Office, switched the two words, so instead of Open Office, it's Office Open XML. I was totally confused for months. Is it now ours on there? So wait a minute. Okay, anyway. So just why I might drop and change names, because they are constantly changing it. Anyway, so just to give you an expression here, I'll give you an overview how that ISO is very important. That Great Britain did a great deal as well, because they made ODF a demand. Taiwan does, I guess the Dutch does, Netherlands does, and at least Great Britain did it this way, that they say ODF, but they use, as far as I know, Microsoft Office, but they lowered the price by this a lot. But nevertheless, I have no idea why Microsoft is really in the TC still, but they're very they're very open there. They're helping us a lot, right? It's very good that they are there. And they already implemented ODF 104 before it's a standard. So somehow, I believe, they have a contract obligation. Otherwise, I see no, but it's just coffee. We can talk about the coffee talk. It's just guessing here, but I gossip or something. Okay, but I found it's quite fun. Anyway, so standards, ISO standards not open. Wait a minute. Hello?
It happens.
Okay, it happens. Standards. Shall I? Technology, anyway. Let me go back, sorry. But anyway, it does not, we are editing on Oasis, not on ISO. There's a TC at Oasis, you can join, you should join, or you should contribute somehow. And yeah, that's the TC URL. And I've hidden some URLs as well, like the Euro regulation and so on. Okay, let's start a little going on. So the ODF-TC is part of Oasis, as I mentioned before. We are maintaining this open document format, not Office Open or Open Office XML. And this, in our charter, is written that we use this format for Office application to meet the changing needs of Office software for an XML-based format for interchange and collaboration. Yeah, that's in our charter. That's what we're trying to do. That's our aim, what we do. Okay, and let's see. We do other things as well. We have subcommittees like accessibility. We worked on accessibility. We had we standardized the formula that are being used by Microsoft as well, and we are meeting every week, Monday evening, and it's quite interesting. So let's continue. So what are we doing now? What is the status at the moment? So the version ODF 1.3 is published. The ISO studios. It's been thrown over the fence, but it's in the queue somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure what the voting and the process are there. I have my guess. I have to look it up. But the next. Oh wait, sorry. This is the old freeze. It's not feature freeze. This not updated. We already have the community specification there, right? Maybe we already have something. It's the latest Oasis, what we do as a TC, and the next thing is the Oasis standard. It's in a review progress, and we need statements there. So let me go ahead. So this is the TC, And I said that half now Michael joined, we have half of the members available, Michael Stahl, Regina Henschel, myself, and as I said yesterday, also Regina just refused to become a chair or an editor. She just wants to work. she do most of, I believe, most of the technical work. I'm very happy that she's there. And Francis Cave is hired as an editor. Also, that he's doing the editorial work. He's the editor from OXML as well, from ISO. Yes, he's a great. How you said, a great gain, a great benefit there that he's in, a great asset, yeah. And Patrick Drusus, the first chair we ever had, and it's really fun and very good. He got this South American North American accent, like South States. Yes, it's. I always enjoy to be in these calls. All right, I'm not sure what's going on here.
It's the difference in the resolution that keeps it.
All right, sorry. Okay. So we have what we did here. There are links. We have two issue tracker. One is the Jira issue tracker, and this Jira issue tracker are the semantic changes that we are listing in the spec. So in the end of the spec appendix, you can click on it and it jump to the issue, and the details have been written there, right? And the other issues that we just want to keep track are the GitHub issues. We, before 1.3, we decided that we needed some place where ASUS had their own GitHub. Again, we might have gone to GitLab, or should have gone, but they have a place where we put all the tooling there, right? The transformation from HTML, from ODF to HTML, scripts and documentation, and most of all, also the issues. If there's any editorial stuff, we have to keep it, we have to mark it somewhere, but we don't want to put so much noise into the specification itself, so we keep this separated, all right? All right. Another thing is about the status of the features. It's a large list, and although I said it's the status for LibreOffice, it's also what I really love is, or really like, that it would move on, and I believe they are still open, even the 1.21, is to have an automation of the editorial process. It takes me like 1 or 2 days just to put all the copyrights, the check, and to manually change things that could be automatically exchanged, and so. It's just cumbersome, and what I also discussed with Michael Meeks would be that we have a quite rapid release of the specification, like the lowest called community specification draft, I believe. They changed the name, so I'm not so sure. But so what we agree on, have a 30 days vote, the first beginning, yes, now. They changed all the voting times, but the idea is that then, if somebody comes with, oh, I need a new feature in ODF because it comes from OXM, I like to have it in, but I'm not allowed to use this namespace unless it's in a spec. So we do something like a fast track and said, okay, let's discuss it now, and not a year later when you already implement it, but now while you think about it, and we work together and put it quickly into the specification, and then with a command line, we generate the specification, all the things, and put it on vote. So 30 days afterwards, it's out there, it's on the list, and you can officially, maybe the customer gets it 30 days earlier, but then we officially have a LibreOffice. It doesn't work out yet how we do it and how we can improve this concept, but somehow we have to put the gaps between the blueprint being released like after years and software, not like we have maybe nightly builds, but I'm aware of Firefox or Chrome. They have 2 weeks release cycles with Scrum, and these Scrum we should lower this for specification as well to joint. Otherwise, the software does not work. They will diverge, and it's a pity. Yeah, okay. It's. I think there's currently a jam of tenders, and
this time it's your computer.
Okay. Oh, sorry for that. As I said, I'm new there, and next time we test. Okay. But anyway, so what I wanted to say is there's a jam, and somehow there are problems being made, but the spice must flow. It's the from Dune that, like the Imperator, greetings from the Imperator. But we have to get the tenders going. We have to go put money in it. We need to, like in currently there's a lot of noise when you open and save just the same document. The table names, the style names, and list names are changing, and I want to have in Git to see what has the editor changed. But if I save everything and the names change, there's too much noise. Yes. So for this kind of processing, we simply need these fixes. And yes, automation is everything. Okay, coming back. We have this is a spec, and this is already generated from the grammar. That's something we just currently do with XLT, and you see also that this documentation, you see there's an element, form property, there's the same name over there. So, so we started with generation and automation. All the default values are with a certain character style that have been extracted, and have a regression test to see, are they still the same, is something new, is it correctly mentioned? So the idea is that what's in the spec is the same as in the software, right? So currently we extract from the spec, but in the future the idea is you have a structured data and you generate the spec and you generate the software as much as possible to automate everything. That's the digital thing of the standard itself. And just now, maybe I put it later in the future, more in the beginning. What's ODF? It's a zip. It's a zip of XML. XML is a more text file with, let's say, with the brackets similar to HTML. And but we have also other files: the manifest, the content table, and there can be also pictures and other sub documents. Like if you have a spreadsheet and you want to have a chart within, then the chart is a directory with a MIME type in the manifest, for instance. And we separated these things to the ODF package. It's a part 2, so that the idea was in the beginning that that PDF might reuse it as well, and EPUB reused it. Unfortunately, they forked, and we are no longer joining with ODF 1 or 2 because they have their own signature and so on. But it's that's a pity. But still, take a look over there. There is all the documentation, and what's missing is a primer. So if somebody like the ODF Toolkit starts writing, then it would be nice to see how the concepts, like what is the how embedded document is resolved. As I said, it's a directory with a MIME type, but you have to know these things. What are the basics of Office, right? Which can be and how they are mapped on how they are implemented in ODF. So, but this is something we have on the list. Another very important thing to me, I think this is the most important thing to me, is what I learned from the e-invoice software. The funny thing is they have 2 XML. They have Oasis UBL and they have the United Nations CFACT, cross-industry invoice. So 2 XML, and because they allow 2 XML, they were pushed to define a semantic. So they have some like invoice number, there's the XPath, so where it's in the file, and they have another table where it's in the other file. And so I realized that in the end, the XML does not matter so much. It's just like a glass, and it's like, that's the example. If you run with friends in a restaurant, an international group, right? Then every got a different menu card, and you said, I want to have pan, bread, brot, but these different names have the same semantic, the same reality. They are just different strings that are labeling to it. And similar to the syntax, right? Sometimes you do not know if you opened in RTF, docx, ODT, because they all look the same if they have the same feature set. So after, what really matters is when you phone your friend and to tell him by the phone that something wrong, is said, okay, there's an image, there's a table, and there's a paragraph, and then the third character is wrong, delete it. Right? So what you would say, you wouldn't explain by XML, you would define it on the semantics that you see. And that is what we need to define. Then we need to define these things to divide ODF, to cut it into pieces, and we say how we eat an elephant. It's so complex, so huge, but we need to reverse engineer back from the syntax to define the semantic first. Because once a professor from US says, I'll go away with the XML, I just want to have an API says, open the text document, insert a paragraph, insert hello world, and make the fifth paragraph, the fifth character bold. And And I don't want to say, open the zip, open the content XML, go to Office body, Office document, then go to Office body, the Office text, and then go between the text sequence, and then there's text B. And so there's a lot of more implementation details. And so the semantic level is far easier, yes? It's less noise. And the funny thing, his API might work as well if you load RTF, docbook. It's like one thing to rule them all. And as I said now, every of these semantic units, these puzzle pieces, have their own user changes. Like an insert column would only apply to a table, and every user would like to do it, independent if it's docx, doc, HTML. This is something that we need defined, and we might just go by your menu and to see what changes exist. But if we do this, we might be able to have something like an API that exists for a long time in the browsers, which makes an interoperability of JavaScript and allows such nice things to just, the asset test is you click on it, you load a document, and during the load of the browser, it tells you, it goes from 0 to 97 here, what tests are working. Right? We have the same for formula. I just talked with the winner spreadsheets and the train that we have a spreadsheet where the formula is having a value and we have a reference, and then it says how good is the implementation doing. But we need this more. We need this for tables. Currently, we can only load and save. But if we load, do a change, and save it, and see if the reference is the change really happening, and define it in the specification. What I said initially, we have the tests, a conformance test at the specification will help us a lot. Yes, and find anything. Yes, we already do this for changes because we have 3 different approaches for change tracking. But it's far simpler if we define a change before we track it, of course. Otherwise, you would define it with the syntax all the time. It's a lot of noise. But if you say, oh, we just do an insert column, here it is, then it's far easier. And we really need it. Expect it would work offline, or first online, then offline on a web office. Then we will never ever send a full document. That's the only time that the Star Office development team agreed that it's not feasible or efficient to send with every keystroke a full document, but you just do an efficient change, and we have to define it to become interoperable open for changes. Imagine that Google Docs, LibreOffice Online, and Microsoft Office 365 could collaborate together, something like this. That should happen. And of course, you should be able to work offline. Like a developer can use Git for software, doing its changes over the weekend and then come back and merge. Yes, not all the time working on the same instance. Okay. So that's the same thing. Macros, just like JavaScript, we need to, Firefox would not say, I forgot about this JavaScript API, DOM API. I do know my own thing, my own API, because I know it better than the rest. No, nobody would do it this way, but we are still doing it. It's strange. All right, validator. Now going back to the implementation side. Michael is the co-owner of ODF Validator. He's sitting there. There's reference implementation. We have, if you build it, then there's a WAR, a WAR file, a Web Application Archive. You can drop it directly in Toolkit, so you can deploy it easily, instantly at home, at your office, wherever, and validates, gives you output. The thing what I would love is that we have the validation message in the specification as well. Yes, we don't have it yet. Yes, the error message is something like this. And it's used in the backend. There's something called ODF DOM, which Mike and I are both co-owning as well. It's a TDF GitHub repository, Java library, which was used by Sun Microsoft for WebOffice and also by Open Exchange. And I merged the changes back. They forked, and I merged it back with money from German government. All right. Just use it. And the other thing we have is, okay, that's the URL. Something, it's just a fun thing. You can run the XLT directly on the zip without unpacking it. Usually XLT works on XML. And just a second, we've gone through. Just a second, here we are. And if you want to, the ODF DOM is the core thing. If you want to have an automation of ODF files on a server, then like the insertion of data, extraction of data for translation, then ODF DOM is your choice. And we have an example for collaboration. Like if you just call this command Java ODF Java and with some document, then you get the same document instead of the shock frozen last final state. You get a sequence of changes, and like a user would have added it from the start to the end. So it's already existing, but it's not standardized, and it's just a prototype for ODT text files and not for all the files. Yes, yeah. It's what I say is simply to define the features. Yes, I think that's all. Some URLs. This is the website of the ODF Toolkit. The last is the same thing, just the latest documentations, right? With Google, I think it's Google Doc. I forgot about this name. Anyway, so the sources are there. They build all the time. Validator you see, and the specification and the tooling that we have. Here we also explain how we use LibreOffice with indent and how we use the XLT. I guess that's all. Of course, there's a talk from Regina about the ODFTC tomorrow morning. And we really would love that you join us somehow, contribute in any time for the ODFTC or the ODF Toolkit. Thank you very much. Any questions? No? Thank you very much first.